Now we'll put the audio back on and everything should be good to go. So hello, and thanks for tuning in. We are live. I've got Unholy Mole here with me today. And we are going to take a look at a video. Let Mole introduce himself, I guess. Although I think you've been on my channel once, perhaps. Alright, and that's Mole. And today we're going to be taking a look at a video from Odd Reality. A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth. 21 questions and answers proving the Earth is flat. And he actually has down here, just to demonstrate, we've got the 21 questions and then 52 proofs. So we'll probably come back and look at that after the video. Yeah, you gotta click more, and if you're not looking for it, you won't see it at all. But I just figured I'd check in case he had a list of them or something, and he does. So let's get right to the first part of the video here. There's some really stupid music, so we don't need to hear that. We don't need to hear that part of the thing. We have this wonderful... It's a nice little intro the fella's got, you know. So, that's the question we all want the answer to. We want to know, where is the edge on the flat Earth? Again, these 21 questions are given from the perspective of somebody questioning the flat Earth, I guess. So the first question someone might ask is, where is the edge? So... yeah, let's take a look here. Well, all right. The thing is, I glanced ahead down here to his stuff, but even if we ignore that, the edge is the place where the world would, you know, end. Right? Well, right, there's... And as we'll see soon enough, he's doing this from a biblical perspective. So, the world is covered in a giant glass dome called the firmament, basically, or it's made of crystal or something. There's still going to be an edge where that dome comes down, you know. So even if the ship going over the edge is wrong, there's still got to be an edge where the firmament meets it, I think. So let's see what the fella... Oh yeah, I mean, that's still an edge, though. No, it's because people tell us the Earth is flat and the water goes somewhere. At least that's how I understand it, Mr. Odd Reality. Kevin D says, there is no edge, there's an infinite plane. Kevin D is one of my cool followers. He likes to jump in and say things sometimes. Yep, it's an infinite plane. That's right, there's no edge. No edge at all. It just goes on forever, like a sphere. Just keep going and you never find the edge. Oh, like Shad might say, but what about dragons? You know, we got the one down here. If you don't watch Shad, he's a pretty cool guy. He likes... Yep, he likes swords, and he likes armor, and he likes things. Look at that waterfall, man. Alright, the music, I hope, is, let's see, does he have it linked here anywhere? No. I don't know what music he's using, so it clearly doesn't need attribution. But, yeah, here's a waterfall, folks, in case you've never seen one. That appears to be probably the Niagara Falls. The other big Grand Canyon. Kevin says, I'm getting edgy, though. Well, more likely than not, that's the Grand Canyon just because of its size. It doesn't have any limiting edges like most rivers. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. I'm totally on point tonight. Okay, in the currently most accepted model. So we actually have one. That's very nice. They usually don't give us one. So he's like light years ahead of Jeranism at this point. This particular fellow, of course. You know, he's the only one who accepts it, but that's fine. I mean... Oh wow, this video is 40-some minutes long, so we're not going to see the whole thing, but we're going to talk to a few of the points here, and then we'll probably jump down to that comment thing down below. And then we'll probably troll the comments too, because that's also fun. Kevin also says hi to you, Unholy Mole. Okay, so we've got a frozen edge out around the outside for some reason. I don't know why, but we do. Well, I suppose, but it doesn't explain to me why the water stops flowing long enough to freeze, though. You know what I mean? Even if you accept the Earth is flat, why is there an ice ring around the outside? I mean... Well, I wouldn't say necessarily I would. If someone could present it in a way that makes sense, I might agree with it. But as it stands presently, it just doesn't make any sense. There is a chance... Oh, right. I'm saying there is a chance someone could come up and say, well, here's a good argument for it. But none of them ever have. That I've heard, you know. So there's always a chance. I mean, we could win the lottery one of these days. But for now, the Earth is a globe. Oh, funny thing about this projection, I think it was actually designed as a like a prank or a hoax or like something like that. It was actually designed to show how silly this is rather than showing it's actually true kind of thing. The other interesting thing... So yeah, we've got an old map. You know, I'm sure in Harry Potter somewhere it says that Dementors can be killed by, like, happy thoughts or something. But I don't think that means Dementors are real. Well, it's actually not. It's not practically correct either. I brought this up here just so we can see it. Kevin says, the Gleason map. And It's a Static Plane says, world clock. Apparently this is just to show the time zones, I guess. But going back to the matter of practical applications, alright. Just to give you a fun one. From Anchorage, Alaska, which is right about here somewhere. And if you go to Miami, Florida, which is kind of the southern part of Florida, alright? That's about 4,000 miles. And that's about 2 of my cursors wide, right? Now, if I go from Miami down to, like, the southern part of Chile, That's also about 4,000 miles, but it's about, you know, 3 or 4 cursors to get down there. So it's not practically accurate either. Jaorder9 says, have you read the Gleason's map patent from the U.S. Patent Office? It says in plain English it was extorted from that of a globe. It says read the patent. Yeah, I believe that, actually, because it's designed to show you a particular sort of perspective. But it still doesn't represent a flat one. And actually, that might have been part of the words he showed us. Let's go back to it. Right, you can see off to the left-hand side, it's a longitude and time calculator. So, as far as that goes, on the projection of Modern College, and yeah, we could check all those patents, but we don't need to. Meaning mathematical manipulation converting a cylindrical Mercator to a circular standard parallel of 0, 0 and 90, 90, which is height suppression, and so on. Yeah, fair enough. It's a static plane, says a map not accurate. I don't understand what these 2 and 4 word sentences mean. But I mean, fair enough, it's not actually static plane says there is no flat earth map currently. Well, I mean, that does seem to be the case, that there is no flat earth. I'll give anyone a chance once, but yeah, I mean, there wouldn't be a map if there is no actual model of it. That's very fair. It'd be nice if we had one that we could actually look at, but what they're basically saying is we can't draw a map because the globe describes it better, I think. You know. So then we go back over this part that we were just watching because I backed it up just to show the map again. Let's see here. We see the... Oh, no, he's wrong. It's certainly not. Again, Anchorage to Florida is much different than Florida, even to here, or even to actually... The fuck is Europe? Over here? Okay, you guys. Okay, this is great. I love this. So what we need to understand, this is the United States. Here's Mexico. And Mexico is roughly 4 times longer than Europe is tall. That's beautiful. And Jaorder9 says, I wonder if that's like a real name. I'm sure I'm not saying it right. But that's fine, because it's probably not a real name. 9 is no. I doubt anyone's last name is no. That is wrong. Please read 100%, blah, blah, etc., etc. Yeah. Basically, he's agreeing with us and disagreeing with Plane. So, that's fair. There is a model. Give me a second. Ooh, very nice. We'll get an actual model. Sweet. Alright, we'll give him a second. That's fine. But we're going to go back to the video in the meantime. It's not an official map of it. I think it's just fucking... It's just like their symbol, flag, fucking whatever. Cool. You know what the official logo for the United States of America is? It's an eagle. That doesn't make the United States an eagle. Wouldn't that be awesome if we were an eagle, though? Like, man, we're feathers. We're flying around. Our national bird was almost a turkey. That means we're definitely almost a turkey. Yeah, I'm also curious about seeing this model. So, check out Effie Astronomy's channel. Maybe we'll do that later. But for now, we're going to stick to this video. The oldest known globe in the world is from 1492. That might be true. We may have just not made globes before then because we were not a global society. Like, we were very tribal and very short-sighted in that regard. Although I somehow doubt it's the first one. But it may be the first reasonably accurate one, I guess. Well, it's probably the oldest modern accurate globe, because if you'll remember, when Columbus set out, he did know the Earth was round, but he believed that it was smaller, and that's why he believed he ended up in India rather than America, because he thought the Earth was literally tinier than it was. So 1492 may have been the first accurate one, fair enough, but it probably wasn't the first one. Well, it is. I mean, it's just a flattened out version. If you take a basketball, puncture the very bottom of it, spread it out, you're going to have the bottom around all the sides if it's stretchy enough. You know what I mean? It's like a condom. If you stretch it far enough, suddenly the bottom is all the way around the outside and it looks really funny. And then you take it and put it over your head and your face looks funny. And then you try not to suffocate while people are laughing at you and you can't get it off fast enough. It's funny. If you've never seen somebody put a condom over their face, it smushes everything up and it's just really funny to look at. Wow, that's a reverse. You can do it with various projections, but again, it's the projections where you're missing part of it, or you stretch part of it and scale it differently, like he says, azimuthal, or whatever. But, yeah, you're not going to stretch it out and make it exact. You could take each of the segments and cut them out. Like, you could do probably eighths or something. And you could have little, you know, sliver-shaped portions of it that are all correct, or reasonably correct, all the way around. But yeah, you can't just do a circle or a globe to a flat and make it perfect. Just on a flat. I mean, you could do it if you were using, like, non-Euclidean geometry or something. But that's really cheating. Paper is Euclidean, you know. Static Plane says magnetic FE 1.0. And then Yaorodine. Again, I'm not going to say it right. Magnetic FE 1.0 is fake. You can use the electrodynamics equations, specifically the Gaussian surface integrals, to calculate the flux through a surface. You can do that. The magnetics we measure on Earth can't work on a disk or a flat. I mean, it could be a cylinder if it's the flat top of it. I mean, if they wanted to wiggle their way around that one, they could kind of do it, but it still wouldn't work out right. There is no map that works because the Earth isn't flat, says Negatorx. And Static Plane says FE 1.0 is being submitted to scientific community. Well, that's nice. It'll go for peer review, and I doubt that it shall stand up to scrutiny, but it can certainly try. Anything can try. Welcome to America, the land of wonders. The land of equality, where all ideas are equal, and we can crush them all the same if they're bad. Wait, didn't we just talk about that? Back to if there is an edge or not. 2 minutes into the video, and we're still just dancing around the same question. That's a pretty picture of ice, though. I like that. Antarctic ice wall. Yeah, okay. Okay. So we don't understand the idea that you can, we know it's not endless, though. Like, we have flown over it. It's just very difficult to do because it's cold, man. Like, we don't do it often, but... Right. I mean, with the sheet of ice, we've had people go from one side to the other. Penguins do it all the time. Well, there's a few penguins down there, I think. Static Plane says the actual shape is not known at this time. Well, that's awful convenient. Curvature has not been scientifically proven yet. Well, it has, Static Plane. That's why our GPS systems work, that allow our computers to communicate synchronously enough that you can watch me sit here talking about it. We can account for the delays over the curve of the Earth and the signals being sent to the servers and all that. And that allows the computer that you're watching it on, possibly a cell phone, and the computer I'm projecting it on, which is that box right there, to talk to one another, because we take in the relativistic effects of the curvature, which then sends some of the data. Kevin says, I can only hear you, nobody else. That's odd. You should be able to hear everyone. I can hear Mole, but, Static Plane says, let me double check my setting here, but, I'm not sure. GPS ground-based. What does GPS ground-based mean? Yeah, Kevin, if you still cannot hear Mole, that's fine. Please do let me know. The other folks in the chat also. I can double check the stream on my side. Let me try that. Oh wait, yeah. For some reason, I'm not picking you up on the stream. It sounds like. Let me listen here for a second. No, I guess I don't. Let me see something here. Maybe. I wonder if the video itself is actually working too. Because if I'm getting everything else, I should be getting you, but, alright. Well, I apologize for the technical difficulties. That's kind of annoying. Yeah, how weird. Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, you should be hearing everything, and so should the stream, but the stream isn't. Hey, Kevin, can you tell me, can you hear the video playing? Well, then I've got a setting screwed up here somewhere. I done goofed up the idiot box, apparently. Which could mean... No, my desktop audio should be coming through. It's odd if it ain't. Oh, wait a minute. Properties... Auxiliary input. No, that's not right. Input. Okay. All right, try talking now, Mole.
Can you guys hear me at all?
Haha, that's probably the problem. All right, I apologize for the technical difficulties. Apparently, for some reason, OBS went to the wrong thing.
Yeah.
At the
Shit
beginning.
happens. Shit happens.
Well, we're only like 20-some minutes into it. That's not the end of the world, actually. Okay, I think we fixed it now.
I don't know. Kevin, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we'll give it a few minutes to go through there. Make sure, because I don't think the people can actually hear the video either, is the problem. Because my desktop audio is what it should have been picking up, but it wasn't actually picking it up for some reason. I changed the setting, and then it seems like it worked. So go ahead and talk for a minute.
Oh, yeah,
Kevin says we're good. Sweet. All right, I am a potato. That's why I'm so Irish. And I potatoed everything up for the first little bit there. Fortunately, we're only 2.5 minutes in, but you should be able to hear.
More land is being hidden from the general public.
Being hidden by who?
By the general public. I don't know, man. I don't fucking know. It's his particularly goofy thing.
It's his story, I know.
And so since we missed the first part of that, we're not going to go back to it. But basically, is there an edge? And he says, we don't know because maps. And basically, he's trying to argue that there isn't frickin'... Oh, this video is weird. All right. Yeah, next time I'll try to... It wouldn't be one of my streams if something wasn't screwed up because of me. So, hey, at least I'm consistent. I can't help it. I do it different every time, and I always miss one little thing. That's all right. I know the Earth is round. I just might be too stupid to hit the right button sometimes. Oh, my. Tell me something, man. Look at that snow, man. They said there can't be cameras down there. But how do they get the photos, man, if they can't go over the ice wall, man?
Right.
Look at all that. Look at all
like
that.
I said, there's proof. It's just not the proof they're looking for, so they disregard it.
Ok at them helicopters, man. It's too cold to fly there. There must be like Illuminati helicopters.
Yeah, this is some tinfoil hat shit. Sure.
All right, he's going to just play a bunch of filler and crap, so we're just going to look at his actual questions down here. Because I don't have 50 minutes to listen to him read 20 points.
That would go much faster, too.
So, I wish he would have answered them right here, too, or like made a blog post or something. He hasn't got to the
second question yet, I don't think.
No, he hasn't. We're almost 3 minutes in. That's why it took him 45 minutes. Where does the sun go
if the Earth is flat?
Right, that's the second question that people like us would ask him, and apparently he answers it in the video.
Which is a very silly, very silly
Oh, there we
answer.
go. So let's skip ahead a little bit. Oh, good, I can just do this.
Well, the sun neither rises nor sets, but travels in a clockwise circuit from east to west.
Okay, so the sun goes clockwise from east to west. Except that's backwards because, you know, whatever. It's his narrative. Let him tell it.
And only appears to rise and set due to perspective.
Only appears to rise and set due to perspective because of magical converging parallel lines, man. What happens if the dude points his face at the sky? That's a great picture. It's a static plane says the sun's a projection. Okay, but if the sun's a projection, how does it give off light? I'm curious.
Right.
Like, you're telling me the sun is not an actual light.
Not only light, but heat. How does it give off heat if it's only a projection?
Well, where is it being projected from? Can we take a look at the projector, I mean?
Is it like a flashlight, or is it a spherical object that gives off light in all directions?
Well, either way, if it's a projection, they're saying it's not an actual object.
I'm just asking different questions.
Yaoder9 says, why do flat earthers get the ability to say how light propagates? This is a good point. They don't actually have a unified theory of light that would obey a flat earth. Just a friendly reminder, if the earth is flat, then atmospheric lensing probably doesn't work. Because you can equate it to like a piece of thick glass. So, for example, if you have a piece of glass, and the glass has a curve to it, you kind of get a lens. Same thing with the atmosphere. If it curves, you kind of get that lens. But if you look edge on at a piece of glass that's very thick and pretty much clear all the way through, if the glass isn't bending, the light also isn't going to bend any more than its initial angle of refraction, you see. It does not travel in straight paths through varying media. Generally, light does go straight enough. Only in free space does it have an index of n equals 1. That's correct. But generally, when you think of the path it takes, you're thinking of it compared to air or a vacuum anyway. But we can still predict what they are in the first place. 9 is correct, but yeah. Kevin says, oh no, perspective, yet the angular size of the sun does not change throughout the day. That's a really good point. That's a fun one to think about. Okay, Static Plane, you've said it's a dome over the flat Earth. We get that. But what is projecting the sun? How do you mean the sun is a projection? Also, we're looking at this video. We'll go to Flat Earth 1.0 later. Maybe in the next stream. But I'm asking you for your answer right now that you can relay it to me. Kevin says it's that old particle wave duality thing. Yes, yes, yes. The particles get in the way.
The sun disappears at the vanishing point of human perspective on the horizon, where
the sun disappears at the vanishing point of perspective. That doesn't tell us anything, though, because the sun's up here all the time, you told us. On a flat Earth, that line literally goes to infinity. That's the same reason we can see most of the moon and not just the center of the moon.
Sun is a transformer. Like the thing that...
It's a robot in disguise?
Yeah. Transformers more than meets the eye.
See, Eric Dollard, sun is a transformer. A transformer of what? There's more than one kind of transformer, by the way. In electricity, that means something very different. But like a prism is a light transformer. I mean, essentially. Because it changes the light into, scattered light. And you can see the different colors. I mean, in a sense. I mean, yes, generally electricity is what you're talking about when you talk about a transformer. Changing a lower voltage to a higher one or vice versa. And you do that through coils that are wrapped around two different magnets in close proximity. And that generates a field. And the field then is increased or decreased based on the multiplication or division of the windings and that kind of thing. We need to transvestigate. Yes, we do. Transvestigate the Transformers. Although, if we're not careful, we'll get our transvestites all mixed up there, too. Then we'll have a hell of a time.
Mm-hmm.
In Transylvania. The sun is an energy heat transformer, Static Plane says. Well, yes, we know that. It takes very great pressure and density of, basically, helium gas generation and turns it into the energy that heats our homes. So, back to the video.
Where the ground meets the sky. And
okay, so why does the sun go that way, though? You gotta remember, the point of convergence for humans happens to be a fair deal off because of the spacing of our eyes. Partly. If you cover one eye, part of this effect goes away. But here's the thing. I could point a telescope up to wherever the sun is. You see. So if you tell me it's over there and the only reason I can't see it is because of perspective, then you have to explain to me how I can see the clouds that are clearly below the sun, yet are clearly still 30 miles off the ground. Why haven't those clouds converged? You know.
And if the sun only travels in east-west direction and doesn't, if it doesn't like set and rise as we see it,
Right.
then when it's dark out, that implies that if I had a telescope, I could see the sun far off because it's just out of my eye range. That's the only reason it's dark, though.
Well, not just that. I like how they're using magnetic north and not true north, as though that makes more sense for the sun going in a circle over a penny, basically, over a CD, over a flat disk. Like, why would the sun go over magnetic north in a circle when, you know, the Earth is tilted a bit, right?
Yes.
By what, 3
our...
degrees or something?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more than that.
Or 6 degrees, maybe?
Tilt,
but the thing is, the sun's rays never hit directly on the equator except on the equinoxes, I think. For, you know, the noontime.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you look at what they have drawn, though, on most of their flat Earth maps, and again, they claim they don't have one, even though they're telling me how they've shown this on a map, right? Static Plane told us there's not an actual map. But he's also telling me that we've mapped it enough to know that the North Pole is the center and the South Pole is the outside. You see.
Yeah. It looks like the tilt is between 22.1 and 24.5 degrees.
Oh, is it that much? Really? Okay, it's been a while since I've been in school, but all right. Numbers happen. Numbers happen. So anyway, the point remains. 23.4 minus 90 is the mark of the beast. All right, fair enough, fair enough. Static Plane says you're asking questions. That's a good thing. Right, but I'm not getting answers. That's a bad thing. Let's go right to the next.
Since the sun is not 93 million miles away, I repeat, not 93 million miles away. But
okay, the sun's not 93 million miles away. That raises a lot more questions than it gets rid of.
And how did he come up with this theory of his, or
what the
hypothesis? How does he know it's not 93 million miles away? Is he a physicist?
And as Kevin says, yep, you need that tilt for the seasons. Never mind that none of these flat Earth models take into account, like, how it is that it's the same measure off every year, north or south of the equator, where the noontime is, where the direct on point is, so to speak, at noon.
You
know,
mean directly overhead?
Right. If you look at noon on either of the equinoxes, at the sun, it's directly overhead if you're on the equator, I think. I think it's the equinox. It's not the borealis, is it? I don't remember anymore. But either way, one of the two. No, it would be the borealis, I guess. I don't remember. Words are hard. But either way, you look straight up on the equator at noon on that day. The sun's directly overhead. And if you go to the halfway point between them, the sun's going to be to the north or to the south. You know.
Right.
So yeah, I think the borealises are the longest and shortest days, aren't they? But
I'm not sure. I know
the
that,
point remains.
The longest day of the year is the summer solstice, and the shortest
solstice.
Day of the
That's
year
what I'm thinking of, not borealis. I don't know what am I thinking of.
Yeah.
Words are hard.
Solstice.
Yeah, solstices should be when it's the same or different. I don't care. You get the idea.
Yes. All right. On to the video.
Jaorder9 says, miles or moles? How do they get 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd? Magic. That's a physics joke, in case you aren't aware. A mole is how much of a thing makes up a particular weight. at that many
Really?
molecules. That's how you get the atomic weight of it. If you have 10 to the 20, if you have 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd of something, you have a mole of something.
Oh.
That's how you get your molar solutions of like sulfuric acid and stuff. Because then you'll have 1 mole per liter. So you'll have 6 times 10 to the 23rd molecules of whatever that is in it.
Okay.
Kind of thing. Yeah, it's math joke.
Okay.
But much closer and smaller, the light emanating from the sun only illuminates about half of the flat plane at once.
All right. You want to take the obvious point there?
Yeah. Well. Yeah. First of all, I'd like to know how much smaller and how far away it is. I mean, you can't just say something is there and then not describe how far away it is. And
right.
Secondly, that isn't really how the sun works. It doesn't just show. It isn't evenly half bright and half dark. That isn't how the sun works. But
well, I like how the Earth is flat, but for some reason the sun goes further top and bottom wise than it does left and right wise. You notice that right there? It looks almost exactly like a globe and not at all like a flat thing.
Yeah, and
it shouldn't be foreshortened, you know.
I don't know.
It's
I don't even know how they come up with that model at all. Like,
well, why is the moon never where the sun is? How does the eclipse happen if the moon's always way over here?
Yeah, if they make it seem like that they're like on opposite poles or like there's a pole in between them and they're both on the opposite ends.
Well, the Bible says there's a sun to rule the day and a moon to rule the night, so they can't ever be out at the same time, right?
Yeah. Even though you can see the moon during the day, right?
Nobody's ever seen a moon during the day. What are you talking about? We didn't see that eclipse.
Never.
Nope.
Yeah, it must have been a projection on my eyeballs or something.
Oh, right. Okay. Let's see. Are there any actual other... I wish you would have put timestamps behind these so I could just click on them.
Yeah, that'd be easier, wouldn't it?
Because, like, 40 minutes, he's getting my view anyway. Like, why not just put the timestamps in? And then more people would watch it too, because they could go through and also learn about specific points, if they so felt like. How come? What prevents the light traveling over the whole disk as the sun rotates around it? What limits the range of light on the flat Earth? Yeah, Kevin's got the idea. I'm not sure, Kevin. God's penis, maybe. It just sits in the middle. It's giant and invisible, but it slows down the light enough that it just kind of doesn't go over the North Pole into the other part of the Earth.
Yeah. Is there like a giant lampshade or something is that what's causing it so like they can't see it elsewhere?
Yep, it's exactly like that. That's what they mean when they say it's a projection, I guess. It's kind of like a flashlight pointing at the Earth, because, you know... Nope, I can't even fathom it right this moment, I guess. Yoder9 says, that illumination area is key. It's so funny in their face if you look on the Gleason's map really quick. The bottom left and right corner has 2 dates with that pattern. But yeah, I mean... The illumination works when it's a sphere, yeah. You'll actually see those patterns when you project it on a circle. It is exactly the sinusoidal pattern from the cylindrical Mercator to get that illumination area. Yaoder9 seems to know more about the specifics of this than I do, which is good. Because what he's saying makes plenty of sense, so that's fine. I don't have a reason to question when he says that, because that actually sounds logical, and it matches what I see in that picture.
Yes.
It doesn't require special explaining, it's just like, here's a projection of the Earth on a map. That I can understand. I am a simple man, except when I'm not.
Simple man.
Number 5, right. What about all the pictures of the Earth? That's a good question. Again, I wish I had a timestamp.
What's the question with it? I mean, what's wrong with
No, this is supposed to be us asking. These are the questions that globetards, whatever they call us, tend to ask flat people.
Yeah.
Like, I would say, what about all the
Why
pictures
don't-
of the Earth? Why do we have pictures of a round Earth? And then he's responding to that
Oh,
point,
yeah,
is what he's saying, yeah.
And
So
I
these
definitely
are-
would have the question of why are all the other planets round as well as the moon?
Right. These are the questions he's claiming to answer. That's why I wish there was a timestamp right behind each one of these. Just, I mean, I realize he's got the 101,000 subs, and I don't. But constructive criticism, dude, timestamps.
Right.
More people will watch your video and come back just to find those specific points. Like, even if they agree with you, timestamps are a good idea. Because then when someone like the flat plane fella who was in the comments wants to be like, here, look at this, the timestamp's right there, and you can share it from there. It's just a really cool thing you can do, that's all. Is outer space even real? Yes, it is. It's a giant fucking vacuum.
Very-
I shouldn't cuss so much. I want to get all that sweet money that I can't get yet.
Sweet, sweet money.
Problem is, I gotta have 10,000 lifetime views before I can start monetizing again. But I can still get
What
all that
about
red
the
money, so...
Coriolis effect. What about gravity? What about seasons?
Right, those are... Why can't I see infinitely far? I'd love to click that one right now. Let's see if I can just, magic it to the right spot. What is that, about number 14 it says?
I think...
I had one right there somewhere. Alright. Is the Flat Earth Society behind the resurgence of the Flat Earth? Where's
I
that
think
one at?
that's like way down there.
Flat Earth. And we wanted the, number 14 2 behind it. So let's go right back here a little bit. What about gravity? Alright,
A
let's
little
check
bit
it
back.
out.
That I believe. I want to hear what they have to say about
Gravity is necessary in order for a spinning ball Earth to work. People readily believe that you can't fall off of a spinning ball that's darting through outer space at speeds that you can't even comprehend.
Okay, let's deconstruct that a little bit. People like to believe, yes, they do. And the other stuff he said, again, the atmosphere ain't going to get sucked away if you're in a vacuum. For the same
Right, and
reason...
why- He does. I don't know why flat earthers have such a hard time with the fact that the Earth's traveling so fast through space.
I think the problem is they don't understand that a vacuum doesn't have its own gravity. I think they think that gravity is literally this thing that's all around us, and you and I have just as much as the air in front of us. And the air in front of us has just as much gravity, density, whatever. Again, I don't understand the words they use, but I think they think
definitely
that...
don't understand how gravity works. No, but I'm saying, like, they don't understand why can't, well, if we're traveling that fast, why can't we feel it? Because look
we're...
at the mass of the Earth, first of all, and we're on the Earth, so we're not going to feel the movement of the Earth.
Well, not
in
just
that
that.
aspect.
Like, they tell
It's
us...
just like, if you're on an airplane, can you feel yourself traveling through the air? You feel like you're sitting still, correct?
Right, right. If you're on a vehicle that's moving and you're not getting the air go past you, you're not going to feel the difference. That's like I tried to explain to someone on my last stream, was, you know, when you open your car windows, the atmosphere outside the car causes the atmosphere inside the car to depressurize, and that's why the wind feels like it's blowing into your car, when it's actually the depressurization pulling it out a little bit. But that's another thing these people don't understand. They say that they understand density, they understand, like, that sort of thing. But then they wonder why space isn't pulling the atmosphere off, even though they understand it has no density. So it's like, there's this stuff up here that's got no density, it's not heavier, it's not going to fall towards Earth. It's not going to interact at all, basically. And they want to know why that stuff isn't pulling the atmosphere away. They don't understand that the effect of gravity is more forceful than the effect of the vacuum pressure that the outer space is applying to them.
Right, and gravity doesn't even have to be that strong to hold certain things in. I mean, they don't understand
right.
Vacuum means nothing at all. There is no force at all out there.
Right, and
So
the little bit of gravity we get from the moon doesn't even pull very much hydrogen from us. Otherwise,
Right.
the moon would have, like, an atmosphere already.
Right.
But yeah,
Good.
gravity
Play
is
on.
complicated if you don't understand it, I guess.
Right.
Yet they will
And
deny
I
how
think they
much
picture
easier.
it as. Oh, I'm sorry. I think
Go
they
ahead.
picture gravity as pushing straight down on something when
Right.
it comes in at all angles. They don't,
Well,
gravity isn't just straight down. It goes towards the center of the earth. I mean, it comes from every angle at all times. Oh, go ahead and play it, though. I don't mind.
but yeah, and Kevin says, Gleason wrote, I do not believe a man could be sane and sober to have conceived these laws of attraction and gravitation from the falling of an apple. So there you have it. It does not exist. Kevin
Yeah.
is one of our favorite commenters.
I don't understand, so therefore it's not true. God did it.
Pretty much. Yep.
It is to stay on a flat surface that doesn't move. Gravity is a scapegoat for all that cannot be explained, and it has never been proven.
Okay, well, we know that's incorrect. See this picture he shows us right there? It proves gravity. It's subtle. It takes a minute to think about, but it proves gravity. It does, even though most people won't think about it that way. But gravity, basically, another way to look at it, this picture does it perfectly. The ping pong ball has the lowest density because it's hollow.
Mm-hmm.
The bolt has the highest density because it's hollow.
Yeah. Because
So
it's
we
solid.
can. Well, no, I mean that doesn't have as much to do with it. It's.
Well, it's not hollow.
Oh yeah, you're right. I said that wrong.
Yeah.
My bad.
That's-
Again, I'm thinking hard today. I'm grinding those gears. It's been a long day at work. What can I say? But basically, the atmosphere is like this too.
Yeah. All them things are like the atmosphere is just like them in the sense that they're all made up of different viscosities. They're all made up
Well,
of different,
not even just that.
like not viscosities really, but a different,
Oh, it is.
different ratios of different gases put together. So some are lighter, some are heavier, but they all reside in their own area.
Die. I don't understand why it says die.
I don't know.
Maybe it's
Maybe
some
they
kind
meant DYE.
No, I think these are the solid things. These are the liquid things. I think maybe it's like a tool and die, maybe?
Oh, maybe that kind of dye. That's possible.
I guess. I don't know. But, well, the other two things you want to look at is, A, the lightest stuff is way up here. So, yeah, the heaviest stuff goes down toward the Earth. Secondly, this is like the outer atmosphere up here. If I take a very gentle breeze, like if there's no atmosphere above this thing, let's pretend,
Okay.
and even if there are a few tiny little things going across the top of it, down here, this is still moving at the same speed as the table. You see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even if we lose some of this, the bolt's still moving at the same speed as the thing it's sitting on.
Yeah,
And I'm
nothing's
saying-
changed there.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying this is a perfect example of how gravity works with an atmosphere.
Okay.
Just trying to drive that point home for the at-home players.
The reason why things fall or float is because of density and buoyancy.
Right. That's exactly correct.
Yes.
And it is because of gravity that things have density and buoyancy, because even within each of these layers, the dish soap, let's say, the dish soap, the central point of it, has a gravity that keeps the dish soap together. That's stronger than the gravity that's acting on it from the center of the Earth. But it's not so strong that the dish soap goes away from itself. I mean, partially it's a strong and weak force there too, and the electromagnetic to keep it coherent. But it's the fact that it acts cohesively as one thing that gives it the ability for gravity from the Earth to act upon it, you know. Yaoda9 says, gotta go guys, great show. I'm picking up a pizza, jack-o'-lantern from Papa Murphy's. Well, I'm not sure where that is, but pizza sounds great. So have a
Papa
good one.
Murphy's is like the kind of pizza you pick up and you have to cook it yourself. They have really
Oh,
good pizza,
neat.
dude. If that's what you're talking about.
Nice. I had some food that
I
I
think
made last night tonight.
I think it's a regional thing. Almost.
Okay, must be. Lane says ha. Lane would say ha. Sup, Lane?
Hey, Lane. Don't be that guy, buddy.
You're not a
Oh, yeah.
Hessian on here.
Yeah.
Lane says, look at these old fuckers. Yep, we are. All
You'll be
right.
that old too someday.
Well, he might if he doesn't, like, drop something sharp on himself. Kids do that these days. They're just out
Yeah.
playing around, and one day they just drop the knife on themselves, and that's the end of it.
It's all fun
Kids
and
are
games
clumsy,
till
man.
somebody-
But hey, at least we're not in high school. We're done with that shit.
Right. All right. Go on
Okay.
to the next.
So those points, I think, are all we're going to address. Now we're going to talk about the points. Again, this is Odd Reality's video Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth. 21 questions and answers. We're going to look at some of the proofs that he puts down here in the comments because he talks too slow and he puts way too much content between everything.
Yeah,
I
he
just
is
want to come here
very
for
slow.
rapid fire 21 points, not 45 minutes, Although, fair enough, this is a live stream.
The proofs are funny anything. Anyway. Okay, the Bible.
The
I'll
Bible!
read the first.
Go ahead.
The Bible repeatedly describes the Earth as immovable, which is stationary, geocentric, and enclosed in a solid dome structure called the firmament.
Baby, I'll give you some firmament.
Actually, doesn't the Bible describe two kinds of firmament? Isn't there
Kinda.
a firmament above and a firmament below? I can't remember.
Right. The other one separates us from Sheol and stuff. There was the vault of
Right.
heaven and the vault of earth, and that's where the floods come from. That's where the floods go, oddly enough, too. The water from the firmament, from the floodgates of heaven, drains onto earth whenever God wants it to rain. And then when the water needs to go away, the holes in the ground open up and the water drains out somehow or something. So it's a really weird hydrological cycle. Another part of the Bible says that God causes the clouds to happen rather than, like, evaporation or something. Really weird.
Right.
But yeah, just because the Bible said it don't make it true. It just means the Bible said it.
Right.
Harry Potter says that
Yeah,
platform 9 3/4 is real. I want to go there. I want to smash my head against the
That's-
wall.
Yeah, that's not very convincing to me.
No, it's not. Especially when we can, like, there was a guy in Canada, I think,
Okay.
who built a slingshot that can send things into low Earth orbit territory, which is kind of neat. And you can find whatever he launched is a few thousand miles away or whatever. Just a big-ass slingshot kind of thing. Really neat.
Huh. All right. All images of the Earth from space are admitted to be computer generated.
I don't know what that means, but
I
no,
think
there
that
are...
I think they're being disingenuous there. What people have said is all images from space are doctored because if they showed they do have actual photos that aren't photoshopped at all, but they just Photoshop them to make it look more aesthetically pleasing. I don't think that they're changing it in any such way to fucking try to deceive anybody.
I think what they're talking about is that the majority of them are transmitted digitally from the thing to us. So I suppose what we could do is we could just send a camera up with actual film on it. And then
are you talking
send
about like from the ISS and from satellites and shit like
right.
that?
I mean, technically, they're all computer generated, the same as my voice is right now. But that doesn't mean I'm fake. Yours is too right now, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to hear you.
Right.
It still goes through an audio codec, and, the video reproduces it. Same as the pictures that we're sending it. The encoders and decoders on the other side take care of that all for us. But it is technically computer generated, even if I'm sending you a live feed of my face. Because the computer is still generating the image on the receiving side.
It has to be broken down and travel through the wires and then put back together on my end so I can see it.
Now, there's probably, although that's not exactly true, because we did take actual film cameras to the moon, didn't we?
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes, we did.
there's film of the Earth from space as well that shows the same thing, which
They
doesn't
show the
involve
Earthrise. There's a
right,
famous Earthrise picture, where like the Earth's crescent shaped almost because you can't see part of it because of the shadow.
right.
Yeah.
So on to point 3.
We're able to see objects such as land, buildings, and boats that are supposed to be behind the curve. No, you can only see them. The only 2 times you can see them are, one, there's an expanse of water in between them, and that has
Right.
to do with some kind of optical illusion. And 2 is if you have some kind of device to what's to make it bigger. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm having a brain fart right here. You know what I'm talking about.
But yeah, the
Enhance
basic premise
size.
remains sometimes atmospheric lensing lets us see a little bit further, but not enough. Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And Kevin says, agree, many images are played with, but are not faked. There's a big difference. And yep, the moon landings predate digital cameras. So presumably all the pictures from probably a few missions after that also would all have non-digital archive backups too.
So I would say most of the Apollo missions, then, at least.
Probably. I've actually got a couple books here from like the I'm not going to get them out now, but they're books
Right.
of science from like the late 70s or early 80s, I forget. They might be Encyclopedia Britannica branded. They're cool. They got pictures and stuff in them. They're really neat, and they've got space stuff in them for each year because each year they released one. Like a hardback, they're like 15 inches tall and 12 inches wide or something. They're really nice books. Found them at Goodwill for like $1 a piece. I like books sometimes.
I do too, a lot.
Number 4.
NASA and Obama say we can't leave low Earth orbit due to the Van Allen belt of radiation.
Thanks, Obama.
Yes, Obama's stopping us. No, I don't think what they understand is in the 60s and shit, things were a lot more mechanical. Like the space were it was all mechanical. And now if we try to go through the Van Allen belt, it would fuck with our electronics and fuck everything up. And they did have exposure to radiation. I can't remember what the astronauts say, something about when they went through the Van Allen belt, they like seen like some kind of white speck in their vision, and there was no explanation for it. Or you know what I'm talking about?
Basically, when that happens, occasionally people here on Earth get the same thing. And what that is just happens to be unlucky enough, or lucky enough, I guess, if you enjoy it. And Kevin D also says, plus all the images from near-Earth orbit in the 60s and 70s. But yeah, what those white flashes are is when a bit of radiation just so happens to find the perfect path right through your eye. And again, it's not generally damaging because it's generally just a little piece or two. It's not much. But you have a lot more of it in space and it does a lot more damage. It'll go through.
Isn't that our main barrier? Is we can't get through because of our electronics would be fucked up by the radiation.
Oh, that would certainly be part of it. But yeah, the radiation, what it does is, because radiation is basically just a form of light, whether it's ionizing or non-ionizing. That's your main difference. And,
okay.
you know, radiation generally doesn't hit very much when it's going through anything. So what that means is occasionally a little bit of that radiation will interact with the cones or rods in the back of your eye, or sometimes the raw nerve endings right behind it. And yeah, it'll excite them just like a little nuclear explosion in the back of your eyeball. But, you know, it's only one neutron big or something, or one electron big. So it creates a brilliant little flash, or just a little tiny spot, depending on what it hits. And that's just the end of it. But again, it's not very common because we have this, you know, atmosphere and stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's basically what's happening is radiation goes through your head and hits your eyeball. Sounds dangerous, but it's really pretty harmless to most people except, you know, astronauts.
You want to read the next one now?
Sure.
Go for it. You read this one.
Number 5. The North Star Polaris never moves. Well, that's wrong. And the constellations have never changed ever. Well, yeah, they have, and they are constantly changing. That's what the whole age of Aquarius and all that bullshit deals with. Because every 1,500 to 2,000 years, one constellation kind of fades out and another one comes in or something. It's retardedly difficult. But we've known about that for 5,000 years.
And if they're talking about just not, it doesn't seem to look like it changes. Once again, they're not taking into account how far away it is. So no matter, it isn't going to look like it changes much from our point of view. It's so fucking far away that it ain't going to look that much different to us.
Right. Kevin says the lunar landing trajectories were chosen to avoid the stronger parts of the Van Allen belt, and the transmit times were shorter. Van Allen was working for NASA. Cannot do that with the Mars missions. Unfortunately, we cannot.
Huh.
But that is pretty neat. I did not know that.
Me neither. Interesting.
Number 6, weather balloon footage and footage from airplanes shows the horizon to be flat and always at eye level. Well, no. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. And also, once again, they're not taking into account the fucking mass of the Earth. And like, okay, like say it, like imagine, like I try to explain it this way. Imagine a microbe on a beach ball. That microbe's not going to know that that beach ball is round. From its point of view, everything is flat, and they're not going to be able to see the roundness until they get a certain height up. They realize how large the Earth is and how high you actually have to be before you're going to see the curve.
Right. The other cool thing I was going to look at here, let me see if this is good. No, that's some crap video. What I was going to say was, if you take a look, nighttime flights are the easiest. You find some good, let me see if this one will do it. That one doesn't really do us any good either. All right. I've seen a really cool one the other day. I don't remember where. I don't remember. But they did a video where the guy had a nice camera in his cockpit that was set up so it, you know, it started like in the late afternoon and went in overnight flight down from somewhere north to somewhere south, I think. So the time doesn't change a whole lot relative, because it's mostly a north-south flight. And as he's going over it, you can see the cities coming into view from over the horizon. It's really cool. And if you watch any decently recorded nighttime flight video from, like, cockpit perspective especially, you'll actually be able to see the cities kind of rolling towards you. And you'll be able to tell this because you'll see.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before, and you can tell it's curved. You can tell it's curved just by the way that the cities appear.
Right, it's really neat, and you're even 30,000 feet up at that point, and you get a better view of how it's curved because you can actually see more and more of the city as you go closer to it until you're over it, and then it rolls away. Of course, you're not looking behind you, but it's the same idea in reverse. But it's really cool to see that stuff, you know. And people will say, well, look, the horizon's flat the whole time. Yeah. But things are rolling towards you.
Right. And it's flat to our eye. They got to remember, I mean, we can't see that far, and we're not far enough away for the scale to make sense to it's
5 miles is not very much compared to 24,000 or whatever, right?
Right.
24,901.
None of the astronauts that supposedly landed on the moon would swear on the Bible. I'm not sure how that's proof in any way. There could be a number of factors why they wouldn't. Maybe they don't believe in the Bible. Maybe
the Bibles are Illuminati, man. The the Illuminati touches them. They don't want to touch them.
That's not. They say these are proofs. These are just statements. That doesn't necessitate proof.
Right, man. Oh, that's a terrible proof. The
Water
Earth
is
flat.
always level and makes up 71% of the Earth.
You know what else water does? This is another video I found the other day. Let's take a look at this. All right, we got to take a look at. Oh, it's in the other browser. Well, screw it. We can live with that. Let's go to the other browser and bring up copy pasta. Okay. Another proof for the flat Earth. I was going to save it for later. I don't actually need the audio for this one because it's fucking stupid.
Oh, this is a short-ass video anyway. Who cares?
Yeah, this one's easy. Fundamental law. Bodies of water do not curve. All right. Take a look at this
cup
thing.
that's round. Isn't that curved?
Well, what shape are raindrops?
Spherical?
What shape do you suppose a little drop of water on a table is?
Well, it's a half sphere because
Right.
the table's
It's
flat.
amazing how that works, isn't it? Look at the water
Yeah.
droplets in the back of this guy's video. They all seem they all seem pretty round.
Yeah, semi-spherical at the very least.
Evidence? Oh my! Let's have some evidence. Premise 1: water is a liquid. Congratulations! At least
got
he's setting it up the right way. I mean, he's trying. Water is a liquid when it's liquid. 2: liquids take the shape of the container unless they're not in one. Okay.
Correct.
Liquids appear flat. Measure with your eyes. No, they don't. You can see a meniscus.
It depends on what the situation is too.
Oh, it's certainly not.
Like-
It's certainly not flat. You spill a few drops of water on your table, it's not flat. They don't appear flat at all.
No,
You put water in your cup, it doesn't appear flat at all either.
No,
It's got a meniscus,
indeed.
which is the part on the top that kind of curves down from the edges.
Yeah, I know
because
what you're
capillary.
talking
Yeah, but our viewers may
Yeah,
not.
like the skin almost.
Yeah, surface tension, which is what allows it to turn into a ball when it's like on one of those zero gravity simulators or on the ISS.
Yes, which
Speaking
we've got
of which,
pictures
yeah.
of, and how would they affect that?
So yeah, that premise is false. Liquids appear flat. No, they don't. They appear as polar sometimes. Kevin says the coffee in my cup is flat. Well, then, Kevin, you need to stop drinking decaf and get some real man's coffee.
My soda's flat, Kevin.
My
Maybe I
iced
need a
tea.
new one.
The conclusion is that the container is flat. That's a terrible conclusion. All right. Wonder how a sponge holds water if a sponge shouldn't be able to hold water. Because sponges aren't flat. I don't know. Weird, isn't it?
It is weird.
Makes you think. 9. NASA is budgeted at $50 million a day. That doesn't sound quite right, but, you know, whatever. Secondarily,
Yeah,
what does NASA's
I don't
budget
think it's
have?
quite that much. Yeah, I don't think I see what that has to do with space.
I don't either.
And number 10 has nothing to do with it either. Operation
Nope.
Paperclip, Nazi Germany helped form NASA. Yeah, we know that Werner von Braun was one of the catalysts in early space. So what?
Kevin
What's that got to do
D.
with anything?
He says, I'm drinking strong stuff. Flat soda is horrid.
It is horrid. Ugh.
It's just sugar water.
All right. Number 11. The heliocentric model was created by Freemasons and satanic occultists.
Yep.
Citation needed.
I'm curious about that as well. That's definitely not true.
Yeah, I want. Who was the first one to propose a heliocentric model? Was it Copernicus or Galileo?
It was probably somebody much older than that. Considering we knew the Earth
maybe,
was a
but-
sphere, but I don't know.
But let's just go with them two guys. Both of them were devoutly religious.
Right.
I don't think either one of them was a was a satanic occultist or a
Hail Satan!
what else do they call him?
Wait, oops, just slipped right out.
Yeah. Hail Satan!
12. All the space
All right.
agencies across the land share the same logo. Good
Oh
for
yeah,
them.
that's proof right there, man. That makes it.
Yep, flat Earth.
you know.
We're done. We're done.
And do you know what the logo is? It kind of looks like the Star Trek symbol. Like
Kevin says Kepler.
um,
Yeah.
kind of like like
It looks like that. Yeah.
like an arrow, except for that's longer on the one side than the other.
And then the Canadian Space Agency, theirs looks kind of like that. They use a similar.
Yeah, they're talking.
It's not even.
You see that like that A shape almost? That's what they're talking about. The vector. The
Oh, wait!
shape.
You know what that means? That means, the picture's not there. Means we're all atheists. Oh yeah.
Hooray! Well,
The logo is a snake.
What is the astronaut drowning? Almost drowning in space.
Astronaut. I don't have a clue.
Do they mean astronaut?
I think they're trying to take a jab at it, but it doesn't make any sense, I guess.
It doesn't make no sense.
Kevin says Kepler might have been the one who proposed the heliocentric model. The modern one, anyway.
Possibly. Yeah. Johannes Kepler? Is that who he's talking about?
I believe so.
Okay.
Water bubbles and scuba
scuba tanks viewed in space.
Nope.
What is that? What proof is that?
I don't understand either. So wait. Space isn't real, but we've seen water bubbles in space, I guess.
And if in space is a vacuum, which would mean there's no gravity, which would be why there's water bubbles if there was water in space.
Even Kevin is confused. He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Gravity. Okay, we're gonna skip a couple of them here. We're gonna.
And electromagnetism are better explanations for gravity.
No, they're simply not. Okay. It's simple enough.
No.
Next point. Gravity is strong enough to hold the oceans to the... Oh, fuck off.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, exactly what I just said there. Gravity is strong enough to hold the oceans to the earth. Yet birds, planes, and clouds fly with ease. Says the same guy who claims that density and buoyancy are better explanations than gravity for those phenomena. Those 2 points contradict each other. I mean, color me stupid. That's certainly pink, I guess. Anybody currently in here who believes in the flat Earth? Treehugger would like to know. I am presuming not. Kevin does, but only on like even numbered seconds. On the odd number seconds, he's okay again. But no, Treehugger, I don't think anyone is here who still believes that the Earth is flat, unfortunately. Because it'd be a lot more fun like last time if there were.
GoPro lenses used to fake the curve of the Earth. Yep, that's total proof right there.
Yep, the Earth is flat. We all believe now.
Yep. Oh, no observable proof of evolution. What the fuck does that even have to do with the flat Earth?
Nothing. Evolution can happen on either.
Why do religious people always fucking equate evolution with everything, dude?
I don't know,
everything.
Man.
It has to do with everything. And it has nothing to do with atheism, even in the slightest, nor flat Earth.
Number 19. The sun's rays come down in angles and not in parallel. Nope, that actually has to do with that thing they described earlier about the points of convergence. It just looks that way.
And yeah, the sun's rays don't come down in angles. They're always parallel. They always fucking... Never mind. Not even going to get into it.
Nope. I talked about that last time.
Moonlight always tests colder than moon shade. What?
That's also a stupid piece of article that's just stupid. They took, some guy took, I got one sitting right here, an IR pyrometer, or an infrared thermometer, some people call it.
Yeah.
And I guess he pointed it at some leaves, and then he pointed it at the moon, and the moon was colder. So he said moonlight's colder. Because, measuring the emissivity of nothing, for some reason, should be warmer than, the emissivity of a tree, I guess. Because reasons?
Funny.
Treehugger says, tell them Jesus was a highly evolved being. But yeah, it's...
Super zoom cameras show that boats do not go over any curve.
Well, they don't. Otherwise, he'd link to a few of them here. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Oh, he didn't put the hyphen in. Says the Earth is pear-shaped. Well, no, it's an oblate spheroid. There's a big difference.
Yeah, and he was using that to dummy it down so everybody could understand it. Come on, don't be so disingenuous.
While we've always been shown perfect spheres. Well, that's right, because from our perspective, it's close enough. The Earth is more spherical or rounder, even, than a cue ball. The difference is, if you take the average at the top and the bottom and the middle, it's a hair different top to bottom than left to right, I guess you want to say. And that's what makes it oblate. But it's still closer tolerances than a cue ball. So it's still very round. It's almost a perfect sphere. So a perfect sphere approximates one very closely.
All right. What's next?
Tree Hugger says, I'm really interested in people. I think he means, yeah. Who believe the Earth is flat. Especially those who are female, under 20, but over 18 presumably. Good figure and under 100 pounds. And can't take an IQ test without crying.
That's funny.
That's
too funny.
He likes the smart ones, yeah.
Yeah. Photo forensics show NASA faked the Earth rise during the moon landings.
Yep, I believe it's flat now.
I don't know where to go with that one.
Yep, flat Earth.
More than one light source during the moon landings.
Tree Hugger says, looking at it from that standpoint, there are never enough flat earthers to go around.
Yeah, these are not proofs. They're just statements.
Hey, we better be nice, though, man. We can't be too mean to those girls. Otherwise, we get the girls like Anita that call us bad names.
Yeah. The fucking Anita Sarkeesians of the world come after us.
All right, number 33. Number 33, best point ever. Lighthouses.
Lighthouses. Yep, that's proof right there.
What the fuck is a
sundog?
What's up, sundog? What's up, sundog?
No, a sundog is like it's like fuck. What's the best way to put it?
I don't fucking know. Sundog. I hope there's no porn there. There shouldn't be because I don't look at it.
No, it's not. It's a natural phenomenon.
It's a perihelion. In meteorology, I was going to say perihelion. Oh, parhelion. I can't even read because I'm thinking other words. In meteorology is an atmospheric optical phenomenon that consists of a bright spot to the left and a right of the sun. Okay, that's fine.
So two sun dogs. Like two suns almost. So how is that proof that the Earth is flat exactly?
I want to adopt a sundog now.
Come here, sundoggy.
The Antikythera.
Admiral Byrd said there is more land. Well, fuck, that proves it right there then. If Admiral Byrd said it's true, then it is true. The Michelson-Morley experiment proved the Earth stationary. Now, isn't that the experiment where they have a long hang, like a plum, and since the Earth rotates, it shows it moving? Isn't that what the Michelson-Morley experiment is?
I'm reading it real quick. It was out of Cleveland. Let's see. It compared the speed of light and
I must have been thinking of a different experiment because that isn't what I'm looking at.
The result was negative in that the expected difference between the speed of light and the direction of movement through preserved ether was found not to exist. This result is generally considered to be the first strong evidence against the then prevalent ether theory. Oh, okay, I get it now. Okay, this was before Einstein. And what happened was, basically, the people thought it was ether back then is what everything moved through. So,
yeah, I remember that.
So what that means is, if the ether was true, then when two objects move, you should measure a distance, motion difference, or something, based on how the light works when it hits against them and the time it takes to get there. And they didn't observe that, which means that light moves at a constant speed regardless of whatever it's moving through. So when you see, for example, this is what helps us figure out how a prism works in a more technical sense, because you're not changing the speed of the light waves when they go into a prism. You're actually causing their angle to change. Right. And the waves to go in different directions, because the waves are all together. So when people thought the ether was real, for example, they thought that the different colors were a result of different actual red, white, yellow, blue, purple, green rays of light.
So they thought that, did they think the ether diffused the light some way, somehow?
Well, not diffused it. They caused the different colors to move at different speeds is what they used to think.
Okay.
So red moves faster, blue moves slower.
Right.
So when it reflects off of something that's green, for example, the light takes longer to get to your eyes than it does if it's reflecting off of maybe a purple object. And that's why you see colors is what they thought when you were talking about things like ether. And then the ether would also act as a medium for waves to travel through, kind of like sound travels through air. But this experiment showed that not to be true.
Yeah.
But
They thought the ether was real, what, into the late 1800s up into the early 1900s, right before Einstein, right?
So what they're doing here...
I think a majority of scientists still weren't too sold on the idea of it, to be honest with you.
Tesla thought there might be ether, I think, but then he figured out there wasn't or something, but then again, he was pretty fucking smart too. No, what they're trying to say with point number 37 here, the MM experiment proved the Earth is stationary. They're trying to say that the experiment showed that the Earth can't possibly be rotating because the ether isn't true, or something along those lines. They're saying that they proved that the time dilation is real and the ether isn't. Therefore, the Earth can't possibly be a circle, round, a sphere, because it doesn't have any ether to hold it in place or something as it goes through space. And this goes back to the fundamental misunderstanding that Flat Earth followers have. This is why Flat Earthers think, for some reason, that the atmosphere should come off. I get it now. Because they think there is no ether, so there's no reason that the atmosphere should be pressed against the Earth the way it is. Because they disproved ether, therefore they disproved the force that holds the air to the Earth, kind of thing. It's dumb, but I understand their logic. So I can attack it a little better this way. But basically, yeah, it's a long way of saying, well, there's no ether, so the Earth has to be flat. It's just as dumb as any of the other points here. That took a very big detour.
The first man to reach the stratosphere said the Earth seemed a disk with upturned edges.
Oh, and what you were talking about with the pendulum, I think that might have been Foucault. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, it is Foucault. You're right.
I was reading Kevin's comment there, and I just kind of remembered.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Treehugger says, which is more fun to talk about? Flat Earthers, Antifa, feminists, Christian snake handlers, or ufologists?
Oh, they all have their good points, I suppose. Christian snake handlers would be fun.
Kevin says ufologists because at least they don't bring scripture to the table.
Touche.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That is fair enough, yes.
Oscar's channel is where you're going to find a lot of that. Oscar Youngell. He dresses up like a banana. Yeah. He smuggles bananas.
Good old Oscar. He's a good dude. Real nice guy.
And then we go, let's see. Point number 40.
Are you going on? All right. What's the next one?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just picking them now.
Oh, the sun and the moon are visible in the sky, same sky. Why is that? How does that prove the Earth is flat?
I haven't got a clue. For some reason, we can't see them all the time. But the fact that we can sometimes see them together means the Earth is flat. 40. Rockets never go straight up. They do if you do things right, and you're not trying to reach.
Well, they don't. They do appear to kind of be going at like an angle, like when like space shuttles. Like,
well, sometimes they do because we're trying to use the Earth's momentum to cause the rocket to get into orbit faster.
Well, that just goes to show you that the Earth is curved right there because the Earth is spinning, so the rocket goes. What is the Bedford level experiment? I'm not familiar with this. I'll have to look it up.
Skeptic talked about it for a minute, then Jaronism did like a 40-minute video response to Skeptic. We'll save that one for another. Basically, that's the one where they went and claimed to see like 300 miles on a salt flat or something. But it didn't actually happen or something. I don't know off the top of my head anymore, but it's something just equally dumb like that.
We'll skip it, but I'm going to look it up real quick.
That's fine. Number 42, Tesla's real scientific findings, like most of them. They don't say anything about flat Earth.
As opposed to his fake ones? What are they talking about?
I think they're talking about a couple of them, like the Wardenclyffe Tower that never happened, doesn't count or something, but... Tesla had a few wild ideas there, but most of his things were good science. Like, again, Tesla believed there was ether.
Most of Tesla's experiments were electricity based, weren't they?
Right, but they were based on the idea that he was fucking around with the ether rather than that he was just fucking around with electricity.
Okay.
So when they say the real ones, they mean, yes, he came to the right conclusions, but only the right conclusions that were arrived in the right way count. It's the fallacy, basically. I think. Again, they don't give me enough words here to know how to misrepresent them. I'm not trying to. I just don't understand what they're saying.
Our own census tells the Earth is flat and stationary. No, they do not.
Nope. It just doesn't work that way.
Look up at the...
My own census tell me this guy is a fucking idiot. What the fuck is his name again? Odd Reality. ODD. I wonder what that stands for.
His reality is kind of odd.
Oh, let's see.
All
right. Sun and moon appear the same size.
Not really. I mean, they're close, but I wouldn't say they're the same size.
Maybe that's the problem. The flat earthers are staring at the sun too much, and they're burning out their retinas. And so they think everything is the same size.
I guess. The globe model was created 500 years ago by Masonic members of the occult. What? Citation needed. Really? I'd like to know where they came up with that. Do you have any idea where the globe model come from?
The globe model is older than the Bible. It came from... It was one of the things we found that didn't get destroyed in the...
Greece, maybe?
No, Odd has nothing to say I've not heard before from other flat-tards, Kevin says. Yeah, he's correct. No, the globe model, basically discovering that the Earth was a sphere, happened...
I think the first globe model was invented by Nicholas Copernicus.
No, the first... I mean, no... Because we discovered that the Earth was round somewhere around 4,000 or 5,000 years ago.
Well, I mean, the first one that they have record of doing the experiment was what, Eratosthenes. And
Treeshugger says he's got to go because he's going to go mess with some morons in a live chat. So have a good one, Treehugger. Thanks for sharing around. The globe model was created 500 years ago. The globe, no, it simply wasn't. I mean, we might not have called it a globe back in the day.
Unless he means Copernicus.
Globe Earth model. Globe Wikipedia. Let's find out. History. The sphericity of the Earth was established by Greek astronomy in the 3rd century BC. So 300 years before Jeebus. And the earliest globe appeared from that period. So yeah, we're talking... 2 to 3 millennia ago. The earliest known example is the one constructed by Crates of Malice in Cilicia, now Sukarova in modern-day Turkey, in the mid-2nd century BC. So no, definitely closer to
Yeah.
2,300 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, that's the first globe we know of being made. And if they're that old, then we know people knew it was a globe before that.
Right.
So easily 3 millennia, we can say.
At least. All right. No one has ever circumnavigated the Earth from north to south, only from east to west.
Big deal.
I don't know. I can't say for sure because I don't know.
Again, we can probably look it up. That's what Google is for. I mean, the ISS does it like once a week, but let's see. The Guinness World Record says around 1980 somewhere. If it'll go, wow. Ralph Fiennes and Charles Burton from the United Kingdom. The first circumnavigation via both the geographical poles was achieved by those two fellows on the Transglobe expedition. They traveled south from Greenwich, London on September 1979, crossed the South Pole on 15 December 1980, the North Pole on 10th April 1982, and returned to Greenwich on 29 August 1982.
Sounds like this guy should do a little bit more research, eh?
56,000 mile journey. That's
no kilometers. 56,000 kilometers.
I can read whatever I want.
Okay. I'm just trying to help.
I was trying to make it bigger than it was, but all right. The Earth is tiny, I guess.
Yep.
But yeah, they've done it.
The Antikythera. Are they talking about the Antikythera mechanism?
Basically,
how does that prove the Earth is flat in any way?
Magic.
Sundials. That proves the Earth's flat also. No.
Nope. Nope. Gyroscopes. Not at all. Astrolabes. Also not at all.
I don't get it.
I forget what those are. Let's take a look at one.
No, I know what an astrolabe is.
Yes, but for the viewers at home, it's an astrolabe. It's a thing. It's right there. Go look it up. 51. No parallax with the stars. Well, that's wrong also. We can measure that. Time-lapse star trails show the stars making perfect circuits around the North Star. Depending on how you do it, but I mean, we kind of expect to see that if the Earth is, spinning.
Right. Yes, which it does.
Hooray! We got through all of it.
And, oh wait, we gotta go. We'll figure out what the Bedford level experiment was. The Bedford level. Oh, I know what the Bedford level experiment. That was the one where the guy got in a rowboat and he fucking had his buddy like row 6 miles out, and he realized that he could still see him. You know what I'm talking about? That's a real long time ago, like 1838, I believe.
Magic.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, it's
magic.
It's not like we have, high power telescopes. They could just buy one of them. The flat earthers.
And I like how their proofs are from like 100 years ago. Like, come on, dude, you couldn't come up with something a little more modern than that.
Well, no, man. They can't buy the telescopes and do the research themselves. They have to go.
Who was it? Jeranism? Jeranism was going to do a curvature experiment, but he only had one pole and like a laser pointer. Was that what it was? I can't remember.
I don't remember anymore.
I don't remember. If you've never checked out SciStrike, check him out, dude. I think you'll enjoy his channel. He's a really good dude. I'll talk to him and see if I can get you to come on. He does you'll have to stay up really late on a Friday night, but it's pretty fun. It's a good time. It's a good time. You'll learn a lot too. They're very sciencey fellas.
Paste and go. No, man, they can't buy the telescopes themselves though, because they have to go here and buy $1,500 flat Earth clocks.
Funny.
$1,500 clocks. $1,500 flat Earth clocks. 1,500 $1,500 clocks. 1,500 $1,500 clocks. 1,500 $1,500 flat Earth clocks. 1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 $1,500 I mean, maybe I'm not saying this with enough. We can get an Earth is Flat marquee for $100 fucking. What the fuck? Son, that's like half my car payment for a month. If I wanted to say the Earth was flat and put it on the back of my car, I'd just use some fucking spray paint. Because it's cheaper.
What is that, a flat Earth clock? Is that what that's supposed to be?
It's from
The Earth is flat.
FlatEarthModels.com, man. They've got a
Oh,
store and everything.
I want that, dude. The
I mean,
marquee.
they look kind of cool,
that's-
but fucking
sweet. The
$1,000
Earth is
clocks.
flat. I wonder why it's in the Pan-African colors. I wonder if that means anything.
It probably just means it's whatever wood they found lying around.
Oh, that's possible.
I mean, these $300 ones, $500 ones, man, they're the budget models. They don't have time to be fancy. They got to try to sell you this one right here. Look at this big fucking clock. There it loads.
$1,000, Jesus Christ!
$1,500 for a
Wow,
clock.
Jesus! I
Yeah,
bet Kent Hovind has one of them.
we are in the wrong business, my friend. Contact.
For sure.
They
We
don't
should
have
become
a
preachers, or flat earthers, or something. Or even better yet, a flat Earth preacher.
Biz. And Kevin says, "Done here, guys." Oh, we missed that by a few minutes. It's his standard time there. It's time for gin in bed. Gin sounds
Yeah,
delicious.
you must
I've got
be
some.
UK, I take it.
Yeah, he's on the other side of the puddle.
Yeah.
I got some
Cool.
gin right here though too.
Yeah.
Since we're still going.
Yeah, well, I think I better hop out of here too. I fucking got some stuff I gotta do, but I'll be back around in a little bit here.
All right, I'm gonna
sure
jump
I'll
off
see-
here as well. So,
All right, buddy. Well, thanks for having me. I'm sure I'll see you in Discord in a little bit here.
all right, we'll talk
All
to
right.
the rest of the audience
All right.
later.
Take it easy. Goodbye, my friend. Goodbye.
Goodbye. And to all the people out there in TV land, we'll see you all. Why would it do that? I don't know. That can go away. Not that one. There we are. Anyway, they can both go away. I don't care. And we'll see y'all next time.